Hello and welcome to The Pulse. We're live from our studios here at Kokomlimle. The bulletin is also live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, and on all our social media handles. We're joining you on TV. A damning report into the 13th African Games, Accra 2023, uncovers explosive allegations of inflated contracts, questionable payments, and millions of cedis in suspected overpricing from accommodation and transport to anti-doping tests and sports equipment. We have details as pressure mounts on the former sports minister to cough up about $40 million. Government is intensifying efforts to combat human trafficking as stakeholders raise concerns over growing cases of sports trafficking involving children, lured with promises of football opportunities abroad. We have details as the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection assures government will not tolerate any form of exploitation and abuse against vulnerable children. Also coming up, cases spearheaded by the OSP continue to suffer major setbacks as an Accra High Court adjourns both the Oforiatta and MPA cases to June 18th, pending the determination of a stay of execution application filed by the OSP. Jobbing residents challenge district's highest HIV prevalence ranking. The latest of these and many other stories are coming up in the next 3 hours here on The Pulse. The program is brought to you by Defendro Cough Expectorant. Defendro, breathe easy, feel better. My name is Kenneth Gyasi. Don't go anywhere.
The bottle line has been drawn and history is calling. 2 giants, 1 trophy. Will this be Arsenal's first ever Champions League trophy? Or is PSG lifting it again for the second time in a row? Join your #1 entertainment radio station, Hits 103.9 FM at the Aviation Social Center as we watch Arsenal versus PSG battle on a giant screen. Ghana, get ready for the Hits FM Rep Your Jersey 2026. This year, we've ramped up the excitement with sports quiz, soccer tournament, the Champions League anthem competition, esports, JAMA, and more. All roads lead to the Aviation Social Center. Swag up your jerseys. Wear your football club jersey proudly. And let's all meet at the Aviation Social Center from 10 a.m. to late. Mark the date, Saturday, 30th May, 2026. And get ready for lots of fun with friends and family. Entertainment with your favorite Hits FM personalities. Music with a Hits FM DJ squad. And amazing prizes to be won from 10 a.m. to the climax of the UEFA Champions League finale match in grand style. The Hits FM Rep Your Jersey 2026 is powered by Joy Sports with support from Joy Prime, Joy News, Joy FM, and My Joy Online, and proudly sponsored by TCL, Inspire Greatness, Star Oil, still quality and affordable fuel for all. Soccer Bet, your best bet for sports betting. Didi Shito, Efiedienye, Heineken, share the passion. Twisco chocolate food drink, power your dream. Ashesi University, educating the next generation of ethical and entrepreneurial leadership for Africa. Ayuda, Ghana's #1 services app. Abaco Services, baby. Franco Trading Enterprise. Still phone Papa Pafi. Day by day men, strong and refined. The skincare you deserve. Heritage Christian University, educating compassionate entrepreneurial leaders. Citizen Sports Mall, level up your game. Aqua Natural Mineral Water. Obenumanum Bium. DSTV. Feel every moment. The Hits FM Rep Your Jersey 2026.
From Africa to football's biggest stage, you are invited to be a part of it. Feel the rush, the passion of every moment. Don't just watch the game. Live the FIFA World Cup experience. With VIP seatings, exclusive lounges, gourmet dining, priority access at every turn, luxury all around you. Seamless, effortless. exceptional. Because this is more than a ticket. This is your FIFA World Cup 2026 experience. Brought to you by Match Experience Hospitality. Call 055 155 1119 or visit matchexphospitality.com to secure your packages or walk into any Absa Bank branch, our official banking partner, for more information and payment.
The 12th Ishmael Yamson and Associates Roundtable Conference is here. Under the theme Unlocking the Next Quarter Century, this conference will spotlight the ideas and strategies shaping Africa's future. BRT 2026 will feature a distinguished speaker lineup including the Minister of Finance, Honorable Akufo-Addo, the Minister of Energy and Green Transition, Honorable Dr. John Jinapo, the CTO of Huawei Technologies Company, Augustine Chu, the Chairman of the National Development Planning Commission, Dr. Nimoy Thompson, and renowned Pan-African activist, Professor P.L.O. Lumumba. Join us on the 28th of May 2026 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Movenpick Ambassador Hotel. Register now at brt.ieyamson.com. BRT 2026 is in partnership with Goldfields, Huawei, MTN, Tex Genesis, Nosme, Gasem, UMB, Lofton Keys Properties, Coronation Insurance, Unicam, Fiducia Data Solutions, Brasica, Vanguard Assurance, Excelsior Global, Coral Reef Innovation Africa, Guosevo, as well as Mojo Pay and People's Pension. Media partners.
We were living in one of the pavilion behind. Later that we had this new building. Then we now moved to that.
You did a lot. They have come here and asked us, and they have continued our 6-unit classroom building.
A lot has changed. After documentary, we had 60 tables and chairs, then a 10-bedroom teacher accommodation.
We have never been fair to these young children. The children are suffering. We applied for school feeding, which will have also helped to increase the enrollment.
The impact has been great in terms of enhancing duty bearer responsiveness, in terms of responding to the infrastructure needs, in terms of teacher availability. We are seeing that there's progress.
Good afternoon. A damning report into the 13th African Games Accra 2023 is exposing explosive claims of inflated contracts, questionable payments and millions of cedis in alleged overpricing from accommodation and transport to anti-doping tests and sports equipment. Well, after spending more than 2.2 billion Ghana cedis on the Continental Sporting event. Auditors say Ghana is still burdened with liabilities exceeding more than 200 million Ghana cedis. Well, the audit also flags what it describes as shocking overpricing in anti-doping tests, where a private company allegedly charged far above internationally benchmarked rates, leading to a price variance of more than 8 million Ghana cedis. Accommodation contracts are also under fire, with JDK Travel and Tours accused of charging $150 per room per night for game officials and guests, despite auditors finding prevailing hotel rates between $50 to $70. The difference, an alleged inflation of more than $10 million. Michael Ashali has been shifting through the report and is joining me in the studio with details. Michael, what do we know?
So, Kenneth, the headline figure that we are dealing with here is 580 million Ghana cedis.
Right.
580 million Ghana cedis. And for a second, think about what really you can do with that amount of money.
A lot.
It doesn't take 5 million Ghana to even put up a school block. So imagine what we can do with this amount of money. But the details will scare you even more. So these are some of the breakdown of the things that we know so far. So we are talking about irregular cost of catering services, the food that the athletes and all the people associated with the event was going to eat and also drink. We understand that from the auditor's report, the irregularities amount to around 33.9 million Ghana cedis. That's not all. Now, for the doping test kits that you were talking about, the report also says that 8 million Ghana cedis of that, in their purview, comes under irregularities, and that these are monies that shouldn't have gone to these people because of the amount of money they are charged. Again, they are checked the prevailing market price, and they don't think that the amount of money that was paid to the company handling it was fair, was at market value. Again, also, the overpricing of accommodation cost, we've already mentioned, that totaling 10 million Ghana cedis. Again, overpricing of sports equipment. And if you look at the details of the report, it says that some of the equipments that were rented out to the committee to use for the sporting event, eventually some of them, we understand that first of all, some of them were not of good quality. Secondly, as well, some of them were not brought. And some of the equipments that they had paid for were never delivered to be used by the sporting event at the end of the day. At the end of the day, the audit report says that 3.87 million Ghana cedis, that amount of money that were paid to those who were given the contract, should be refunded. And specifically the document, in every one of these events, it tells us that specific individuals that are supposed to be held liable and also forced to pay back these monies to the state. There's more, Kenneth. Vehicle branding and debranding, 2 million Ghana cedis. And I'm sure you recall that at the height of the sporting event, literally, if you lived around Opongolo, East Legon, you wouldn't go 2 hours without seeing a branded 2023 games vehicle. And it was all over the place. In fact, for some of them, even myself, I saw a question that, how is this guy even branded? But, well, these are the details that we are seeing. That for vehicle branding, the auditors believe that 2 million of that amount of money was not meant to go to anybody at all. It was supposed to sit in the LOC's account, and eventually government shouldn't have paid that amount of money. Again, overpricing of vehicle hiring, and some of these branded vehicles were hired vehicles. They were not, did not belong to the sporting or the organizers of the event. They had to be hired. 13.1 million Ghana cedis of that amount of money used in hiring other vehicles, some of them saloon vehicles, some of them Camrys, some of them Toyota Corollas.
Right.
They tell us that, well, that amount of money should never have gone to anybody. Again, irregular invoice and overpayment. That is 2.2 million Ghana cedis.
Oh my goodness.
A lot of money that went to people that they thought had been paid for the services that they had rendered. Again, excessive rental cost. We've already gone through some of them already. This is just about 239,000 Ghana cedis. We are not done. The document is around 700 pages of thorough work that has been done. There's more. Irregular claims, variations. We are told that 467 million Ghana cedis were involved in that particular category. Again, defective works. Specifically, that if you go to Achimota and Achimota, some of the sporting events were done there, and also at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium, that some works were supposed to be done. Some of them were drainage; they are not being done. Some of them were defective from the get-go, that although they had been done, they were not done properly. Around 12 million Ghana cedis went into that. If any inspection had been done, according to the audit committee, they would have flagged some of these things and not paid or forwarded these amount of monies to the contractors. Again, inflated contracts for works, 6.3 million Ghana, and again, excessive rental cost. And then also, big amount of money, unrelated LOC payments. And I'm sure that my colleague Muftau Nabila, who is here, will have some more details of this. That even the Black Stars have collected some monies. All my life, I didn't even know that Black Stars had anything to do with the 2023 African Games. I didn't, at best, what I saw were people wearing Black Star jerseys around that place, because that's what they could do to represent the country anyways. But some 15 million Ghana cedis were forwarded to some individuals, some committees, to some groups that had nothing to do, according to the auditors, to do with the LOC games or the championship, and therefore didn't deserve to have seen monies moving specifically from the LOC accounts to these groups. And these were not monies that were carried by an individual and given to individuals in darkness. These were monies that were forwarded from the accounts of the LOC directly to other groups. Specifically, what I have seen myself is the Black Stars. And I always wondered, I'm sure that Nabila has more. So again, administrative irregularities in total was around 16.5 million Ghana cedis. These are the names that have come up so far. That one are supposed to do a couple of things. We are supposed to further investigate them. We are supposed to, in some cases, charge these amounts of money from them. And also some of them were supposed to be forwarded to sanction. And the sanctions will definitely have to go through the other investigative bodies.
No recommendation for any of them to be prosecuted?
Well, sanctions definitely. To sanction somebody, you have to do the investigation. Investigations will be a prosecutor, possibly an investigation. So, Yusuf Mustafa, former sports minister, is one of those almost mentioned in every single line of misappropriation, or alleged misappropriation. William Kate is the former chief director at the Ministry of Sports as well. And then also Dr. Kweku Ofosu-Asare, the former LOC chairman. Again, the director general for the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation was also mentioned.
That's my former lecturer and former project supervisor.
Interesting. So specifically to that one, I'll read you what exactly is said in that report. If you go to page 9 of that report, item number 27, it talks about irregular training contract with the production team. And this involved the GBC. Now it says that GBC engaged the production room under a proposal for a training and equipment package valued at 57,000 euros and covering purported training of production crews, supply of high-spec laptops increased from 6 to 8, and editing software. Audit, interviews and document review found no evidence of training delivery, no schedules, attendance records, training materials or certification, nor proof of the engagement contributed to the game's broadcast. The contract, the report says, was 100% paid in advance without competitive procurement, needs assessment, or deliverable-based safeguards, and included undocumented scope expansion and embedded capital items without proper asset documentation. It goes on to talk about the 4 individuals I mentioned already who are supposed to be held by their belts to pay for these amounts of money, Kenneth.
Michael Ashali, thank you very much for that in-depth analysis of the report that was released. And Muftau Nabila with our sports desk is joining me in studio. Muftau, you gained exclusive access to this audit report days even before it became public. You know, I've been a bit in the middle, in between, looking at these figures. Do you know why? Because I covered the African Games, not for sports, for main news, because of the magnitude of it. We've never seen an event like that in the capital. And I was underwhelmed, thoroughly underwhelmed when I covered it. I saw the swimming pools, and I was asking myself, was Ghana the only country that bid for this? How did we win this? I went to the athletes' village. I saw the food that they were eating. In my head, I'm like, How come we won this bid in the first place?
The food there, it was good. I ate some.
Was it though?
I had a privilege of eating a dinner because it was the month of Ramadan, so we're not able to eat the lunch and all that.
So when I saw these figures and the infractions that we are witnessing, and I'm like, oh, so we could have done better.
We actually could have.
We could have done far better. And look at what we did. You know more. Tell us.
Okay, so, and in fact, Michael Ashale has already touched on loads of the things. One of the things, and let me just state here that I was one of the few people who was privileged to get a copy of the LOC report presented to government. That report has never been put in the public domain. Now that we are talking about what the president asked the auditors to do, I think I will release that document. I've had it for nearly 2 years now. First of all, the government of Ghana decided to bid for the African Games way back in 2017. Ghana won the right in 2018 to host the competition. And initially, there was a plan to put up a 50,000 capacity stadium at Botswana. Along the line, government realized that putting up that 50,000 capacity stadium was going to be near impossible because they wanted to be more of a multi-purpose facility. However, they realized that it was going to be difficult for them to put up that facility. So they decided that they were going to complete the University of Ghana Stadium and also put up other new structures to be able to host the event. I knew for sure, and I'm sure if Michael Ashale goes to read the document further, he will realize that the Botswana Sports Complex, which cost the country about $145 million, the auditors indicated about $34 million remains unaccounted for in that document. And the catering bit, in fact, in the catering bit of this, about $2.2 million was overpriced. And it also indicated that part of that contract was given to a different entity to execute. Meanwhile, they had decided that they were going to give it into a separate company. So along the line, it appears 2 or 3 separate companies were paid for a job which already had been handed to one company per the document. Then you go on to talk about other unrelated expenses, which the Auditor General indicated that about 579 million Ghana cedis, per what I have read so far, were financial irregularities. And those financial irregularities were what Michael Ashale touched on. If you go down further, I was pointing to you earlier about some areas, and what was actually befuddling for me when I was reading the document the last 4 days has been that you get to an area where according to the Auditor General, the transactions were identified as unknown. You make payments and you indicate unknown for the Auditor General. I don't know, Kenneth, but it's quite difficult to actually comprehend the entire document. It's about 700 pages.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I've even cleared 100 pages yet, but what I've seen so far has been quite troubling, and I'm not sure anyone would be happy to want to be a part of that. The former sports minister, the local organizing committee chairman, I'm certain that they would be invited to answer questions. This document has been ready since February 26.
Right.
It's been ready since February 26. But we all got hold of it somewhere last week.
Right. You can see some projections that have been made on the screen.
These were some of the things that Michael Ashale was talking about.
Yes.
These
so
are
let's look at the item
expenses.
25. It's unrelated LOC payments.
Yes.
Over 15 million Ghana cedis. Review of the LOC's USD and CD bank accounts identified payments totaling more than $400,000 and over 9 million Ghana cedis, amounting to 15 million Ghana cedis made for activities unrelated to the hosting of the 13th African Games. The transactions included advanced salary payments and other disbursements to officials and staff of the national football team Black Stars, my goodness, including the head coach and assistant coach. These expenditures were processed through LOC accounts despite not forming part of the approved games mandate or budget. My goodness, again, what does that mean?
It would have been great if they broke that down for us to have a proper appreciation. Was it monies that were used to pay the Black Stars coaches because they were owed, or these were monies that were paid to the junior national team that represented the country?
Yes, in the football competition. Right.
Sure. I'm sure the auditors should have been able to cross-check that and give us a proper appreciation of that area. But when I read it, I got lost a bit. I've tried speaking to people, and in fact, because they didn't have the document, and I'm just going to say that I shared the document with them, they didn't even have a copy of the document. It's because they didn't have a copy of the document, they were unable to speak to them. So the conversation I had with them were off record, and I'm sure when they go through the document and acquaint themselves with all the details that have been shared by the Auditor General, and I have a conversation with them, I'm sure they will be better placed to offer some explanation as to some of the expenses that we are currently seeing.
Right. I'm going through the over 700-page document that has been released, and I see here misspecification and overlapping sports equipment contracts, review of the Lovely's approved cost schedule shows the following unexplained and unidentified cost categories with no verifiable specifications in terms of quality and quantities. Sports equipment over $400,000 US. Badminton over $140,000 US. Boxing over $109,000 US. Triathlon over $449,000 US. Weightlifting over $275,000 US. It says that these overlapping. There's
triathlon. Go further.
Yeah, I mentioned the triathlon. That is over $449,000 US. Yes. These are huge monies.
They are huge monies.
Unaccounted for monies.
We have the document here. If they can just roll it up, just roll it up to the point where they were talking about the financial irregularities. So just go up, just go. And there's an area that will be of interest to many people where the Auditor General recommended that we should get the money back from Mustafa Yusuf, Director General William Carter Caesar, and the local organizing committee chairman.
The GBC director as well.
But GBC director, he was not mentioned multiple times.
Okay.
Go up, continue to go.
Do you know there's page specific? So
from here. So come down. No, go up.
So these are the financial irregularities.
Go up. So the summary. So if you read the summary here, you see the latter part. You say, we recommend recovery of the amount from Mustafa Yusuf, former Minister of Youth and Sports, William Carter, former Chief Director, and Dr. Kweku Ofosu-Asare, former LOC Chairman. So from point 16 to point, is it 25, per what I read? Every single people were mentioned that the money should be recovered from them.
Wow.
Yes, point 16 to point 25.
So let's look at point 17. I was actually going to come there. Overpricing of anti-doping tests.
Yes.
Because we know that anti-doping tests are taken in all sports competitions.
It happens all over,
I mean, footballers are tested randomly most of the time. This was a huge number of athletes who were trooping through our country, and they were tested for possible substances. They were also overinflated.
Are still there. The equipment are still at the University of Ghana Stadium. But this very line too, I was a bit confused when I read it. They said the ministry contracted Omni Specialty Product Limited at a total sum of €739,225.98 for specified anti-doping tests, including 100 OCC, 400 IC, and 20 ABP, 20 high isoform, 80 high biomarkers, and 600 long storage tests. Benchmark against water accredited laboratory rates, and that was in Cologne. They revealed that Omni's unit prices significantly exceeded prevailing market rates.
Right.
The resulting aggregate price variance amounted to €572,040, equivalent to 8 million. So they recommended recovery of the money. So I think, from where I sit, right?
Yeah.
I think they should have also indicated that we should recover the money too from some of these companies for overcharging the states. So maybe just to play the devil's advocate, the local organizing committee chairman, Dr. Ofosu-Asare, he might not be a technocrat who has an idea about some of these things. But the plus is that when you do competitive bidding, you would see. That's why when you go down, there's a procurement breach. That's where they were asking for the sanctions for them. And that is from, point 31 all the way up to point 50. That's where they were talking about how they should be sanctioned. In fact, they were even talking about some revocations of appointments and all that. So roll up, continue to go up. There's an area where they were saying that these people should be sanctioned. Continue to go up. When you get so go up. There's a portion there I just want to read briefly. From here, the unqualified contractor, which is the JDK Travel and Tours, you realize that down there, they say that Mustafa Yusuf, Dr. Ofosu Asare and Katesida should be sanctioned in accordance with Section 9.2 of the Public Procurement Act 2003, Act 663, as amended. So from here all the way up to 50, they should be sanctioned. That's what the Auditor General is saying. But as I mentioned, it's 700 pages, so there are lots more to be read from this document.
Mufta, I want us to look at point 39, if they can scroll up to point 39.
Yes.
That is high-risk cash withdrawals and payments outside GIFMIS. That is over 20 million Ghana cedis. So it says that large cash withdrawals were made from the AUSC account without documented purpose or supporting disbursement records. Repeated withdrawals by the same individuals were observed. The cash withdrawals showed no corresponding by the same individuals. GIFMIS POS system vouchers or EFT confirmations. Transactions have bypassed the GIFMIS controls, and they recommend that GIFMIS should be fully deployed for all future payments. That's interesting. Yeah. Withdrawals without the knowledge of anybody and then without any purpose.
In fact, if you take a look at point 40 as well, there's something similar in that area when I was going through this document. And it would interest you to know, as I mentioned earlier, the confusion here is that I don't know if these people were actually called up to come and speak to some of these things. But I can tell you that they claimed innocence of this document.
Yeah.
And I had to give them copies to read. And then I'll have to go back to them after they have read for me to actually have a proper appreciation of the conversations that they had behind the scenes. But per my checks, when this document was ready, it was presented to the Jubilee House. There was actually a PowerPoint presentation. In fact, there was also a presentation to the Ministry of Sports and to Recreation. But interestingly, it was only presented to some people who are in the high-ranking offices. So some of the people within had no prior knowledge. So I remember when I released this document, people were actually even wondering how I got a copy of it. But that's another story for another day. But what I basically want to talk about is the fact that when there is withdrawals without knowledge of people who are supposed to be part of the very system that is working, that is actually problematic. And someone may even think that if you did not have any ulterior motives, then you probably should be working with a team, because I'm not sure only one person was a signatory to the accounts and should be in a position to withdraw monies without having everyone involved. And that is where I think there should be serious investigations in all these things, per what the Auditor General has brought to us.
Right, Muftau, don't go yet. We will be speaking to anti-corruption crusader Edem Sananu any moment from now, but we also understand that the minority in Parliament is about to hold a press conference about the suspended 0.75% intended charges in bank transactions between MTN and the Amomo accounts. Let's cross over now. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation.
But what do we see today? Their hypocrisy has become legend. I have in my hand a statement that has just been released by Bank of Ghana after the public criticized the NDC administration. They are now purporting to say that they are suspending the levy. Meanwhile, they had earlier put out a public notice that from 1st of June, transactions from bank account to the wallet would attract a 0.75% Ghana cedi, 0.75% fees on direct wallet to bank transfers. According to them, they are doing this suspension for further consultation. The question is, what is further consultation in this context? Were these not the same people who, when in opposition, claimed that there must be constructive consultation before any policy is introduced and implemented? So what has changed? The worst part of it is that this time they did not even come through Parliament. According to them, they're using Mobile Money Fintech Limited as the vehicle for these hidden charges. So whereas in the Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration, due process was followed, government made the announcement through the budget and came to Parliament for a law for the purposes of this levy. NDC is using the Bank of Ghana and a private sector company to enforce this levy. We have a question for the finance minister. He must immediately come to Parliament on Thursday to explain the circumstances leading to the imposition of this 0.75% charges on mobile money transactions. We are not interested in the suspension. We are interested in how come, but for the public outcry, they were going to spring this surprise on the Ghanaian public. So in conclusion, we are simply saying NDC is a scam. It's a government of settings. They don't believe in what they say. I repeat, the NDC government does not believe in what it says. It says one thing and does another. It doesn't keep its promise. It is a government of propaganda. They promised 1 job, 3 shifts. As we speak, they have failed on that 1 job, 3 shifts. They promised cocoa farmers that a bag of cocoa will sell at 7,000. They came and they have rather reduced it. At least they could have maintained the 3,100 that Akufo-Addo left. They promised the rice farmer that they were going to have a system to offtake the produce of the rice farmers. As we speak, it is even cheaper to buy imported rice than a locally produced rice. They have lost their policy on agriculture. Maize farmers are complaining, yam farmers are complaining, cocoa farmers are complaining. On electricity, within a year and a half of being in office, they have increased electricity tariffs by almost 30%. Water, 19%. As we speak, we know that Dumso is back. They again do not have a policy in place to absorb our trained teachers and our trained nurses. They give one excuse after the other. When it comes to recruitment into the security services, they know that per their own budget, they can only contain 5,000 recruits, yet they sold forms to hundreds of thousands of people, and even the 200,000 that qualified for medicals, that they are taking their money, that these student recruits will be charged for medicals after going through difficult time in this AI, so-called AI aptitude test. They know that the monies that they will be charging, these innocent, unemployed Ghanaian youth will not get their jobs. Yet, a party of propaganda still went ahead. And when we criticized it in Parliament, they now came back and told us they are going to increase it, the numbers to 10,000. Even if you maintain the 10,000, it is not even up to 10%. So, again, they are scamming all of us. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, to conclude, we are aware that they themselves promised Ghanaian women bank. They said they were going to establish a bank solely for women. They were going to give loans. What has become of that loan? We've not even seen the bank. We've not seen the bank. And people are desperate. They came and rather dismissed people who were lawfully employed. And more youths are sitting at home because NDC came into office and sacked them. We have several of it. We moved the motion on the floor and they frustrated the motion because they want to hide this. That is NDC for you. Thank you very much indeed.
You just heard that the minority leader, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, speaking from Parliament over the suspended Momo2 bank transaction, which was announced by MTN just yesterday. It has since been suspended by the Bank of Ghana pending further consultations. Let's now go on to Zoom and speak to anti-corruption crusader Edem Senanu. Welcome to the program. And now the Auditor General says that the persons who supervised the 13th African Games have to cough up over 500 million Ghana cedis, which are flagged as infractions. What do you make of that?
Well, I think it is in terms of the...
Hello, Adam. We're still trying to work the phone lines and speak to Edem Senanu there. He's an anti-corruption crusader. But I still have Muftau Nabila. He is with Joy Sports in studio with me, giving us a better understanding of that particular audit, which has since gone viral. Let's look at point 42, Muftau. And it's the, if you can project
it's engagement of
back on the line.
Service providers without any
contract.
official contract or formal contracts. And that was quite problematic for me. And in fact, it's in relation to the production or broadcast of the competition.
Right.
Where certain independent production institutions were engaged by GBC on behalf of the state without any formal documentation. And these institutions are Silicon House, Broadstem, and they said without any signed contracts covering scope and pricing. And they recommend that Prof. Amin Al-Hassan, who is the Director General of GBC, should be sanctioned in accordance with Section 92 of the Public Procurement Act 2003, Act 663, as amended. But one thing so prior to the organization of the African Games, I knew a couple of media institutions were interested in broadcasting the African Games 2023. However, they wanted government to take care of the production costs, while these institutions were going to be responsible for providing the feed for other media organizations that were going to broadcast the competition. And I know some figures were being thrown in the air because I was privileged to have been part of some conversations. So one of them was the fact that there was one company in France, I don't want to mention the name of that company, they were demanding 5 million euros to broadcast to broadcast the African Games, but the state was going to pay for that. So the state did not pay for that. Another company in South Africa also showed interest in broadcasting the competition. They were actually asking for about $6 million to do the production of the African Games. Then again, government was going to pay that. But government decided that instead of engaging these foreign media organizations to come and do the production for us, then let's engage GBC. So that was where GBC came into the picture as the production house for the African Games. GBC2, they do not have the resources to be able to do every single thing. So they needed to engage third parties. And this is where this thing came up, where they engaged some of these third parties without any formal contract signed and the scope of work that was supposed to be done. Most of these institutions often want governments to handle the cost of production because the African Games in recent times has become very difficult to sell. So no media organization is willing to pay huge millions of dollars to produce the competition when they know very well that they cannot sell the feed to recoup their money. So they will rather ask the host of the competition, take care of the production cost. We will sell the feed. If we get the money, you take your money. If you don't get the money, we have taken our money anyway. So we still walk away without incurring any cost of producing the event. So, and I think that as Ghana Broadcasting Community, there was absolutely nothing wrong engaging Silicon House, Broadstem, and TPR to assist you with the production. But I think that there should have been a formal contract signed and the scope of work properly defined.
Exactly.
And these are standard things that should be done. But unfortunately,
it's basic, isn't it?
It wasn't done, and which is quite problematic from where I sit. And in fact, some GBC staff actually had cause to complain about the way and manner they were treated in relation to the production of the African Games. They felt they were underpaid because they were paid, was it 100 Ghana cedis per day or something like that?
I remember them revolting.
Revolting at And in fact, interestingly, so one of them had reached out to me to ask whether if I didn't have this report. Fortunately, I finally have it, so maybe I'll share a copy with him as well, so that he can also take a look at it, because they actually have interest in it because of the training bit, the training that was supposed to happen, and it never happened. There was also the other aspect where they were supposed to supply some personnel, but GBC staff were those who were deployed to do it, instead of engaging other people to come and assist them. And they felt that in all these things, the GBC staff felt that they should have been better remunerated, but unfortunately, that did not happen.
Interesting.
It's a huge document, Kenneth.
Yes.
But I'm sure maybe as the days pass by, we'll have loads more to actually share.
Yes. So I'm at page 7 to 8. We were all asking about the Black Stars payments that were made, and then I see that the findings, according to the report, says we noted payments of over $400,000 which is an approximate figure of 5.8 million Ghana cedis, and over 9 million Ghana cedis from the LOC's USD and CD bank accounts, respectively, totaling over 15 million made to individuals and for expenditures related to the national football team, Black Stars, and other sporting activities which are not related to the organization and hosting of the 13th African Games. And they have a table there. If you look at the table, on the 7th of May 2024, a payment of $240,000 was made to an account with the name Akufo-Addo, and the reference was advance salary for 1 year. On the same day, the 7th of May 2024, a payment was made to an account with the name Hilton Enterprise.
Who's Hilton?
The account name is Hilton Enterprise. I don't know whether that is him.
So before you proceed, just hang on. They can go to page 78. And I don't know if it is okay. It's not
this one.
It's not point 78, but page 78.
Page 78, not point
page
78.
I don't know if I can say this.
Right. So I'm coming out.
I have Chris Hilton's contract.
Right.
I have Akufo-Addo's contract.
So Chris Hilton, though he's not mentioned the name, the name of the account is Hilton Enterprise.
Even the contract signed between the Ghana Football Association and Chris Hilton is Hilton Enterprise.
Right, okay.
That's why I know that it is Chris.
Okay,
yeah, because
correct.
I have a copy of his contract.
And then there was $75,000 that was paid to that account, and the reference is that 3 months salary advance. Okay. And then we have...
That was paid when?
That was paid on the 7th of May 2024.
He had been sacked already, so how was that salary advance? He was sacked January 2024.
Well, the payment date is what I've mentioned to you, because we also know that an account named Akufo-Addo was paid.
Akufo-Addo had just been appointed head coach of the Black Stars, and they gave him salary payment in advance.
1 year salary advance of $240,000.
Yeah.
Now, on the 10th of June, there was a payment made to an account called John Painsell,
assistant coach of the Black Stars.
Okay, $30,000.
Okay.
On the same day, an amount of $9,000 was paid to
Joseph Lawman,
a UBA account called Akufo-Addo.
Yes, that's the goalkeeper's trainer.
Okay. And then on the 11th of June 2024, we had $60,000 paid to an account named Akufo-Addo.
And that one too. Wow.
Good.
Okay.
Perfect. So these are the things that I was
as I mentioned, I've not even read up to 100 pages of
there's a lot.
Someone has read this.
There is a lot. So these are the ones that I was mentioning.
It's actually an area of interest.
Yes. So you see the first one that I mentioned, the account name Akufo-Addo with some German name following it.
Yeah.
Advanced salary for 1 year.
Oh, Akufo-Addo's full name is Nana Akufo-Addo.
Okay. So, but this is the account name that they paid.
Yeah.
You see, the second one was Hilton Enterprise. They paid $75,000. The reference is that 3 months advance salary. And then the 10th of June, 2024, they paid to an account called John Painsell /GIS suspense something, $30,000. And then the same day, they paid $9,000 to Akufo-Addo. And then the next day, they paid another $60,000 to an account named Akufo-Addo. You see there?
That's interesting.
We can move to the next one. We see more payments.
It's an interesting one, yeah.
Right. So move to the next slide.
Move to the next slide.
Right.
Move up. Move up.
Right. So those are some of the infractions that were cited in the Auditor General's report. But
we are not even done. Come back here.
Indeed, we are not. But Muftau, we'll continue the conversation in the studio shortly. Yeah. But let's go on Zoom and try one more time to reconnect with Edem Senano. He's an anti-corruption crusader. Edem, do I have clear connection to you this time?
Yes, you do, but by phone. We're not on Zoom, but by phone.
That's fine. I can hear you loud and clear. You were making a point. I was seeking your opinion on the infractions that have been cited by the Auditor General's report, over 500 million Ghana cedis.
Yes, I was pointing out that the scope of the financial crimes, the magnitude, is so shocking and staggering. It's almost like this was a scheme. It's like you had a group of people who sat down and found every way to milk money out of the system. And so I am quite uncomfortable with the idea that only some people, I see the same names being repeated, should be held accountable. But in my mind, it could not just be these 3, 4, 5 people. There had to be a whole host of other people who were participating, going to banks, cashing money, not lodging it, inflating invoices. It seems to me we focus on just, let's say, the supply side or the demand side, and not those who are on the other stakeholders.
Right.
And so I'm a bit dissatisfied with that.
So you see this as a whole cabal and not just the few names that have been put out.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Let's look at the few names that have been put out. It includes the former sports minister, the former LOC chairman, the former director at the sports ministry, the director general of the GBC, and so on. What do you think should be done to them? Do you think they should be arrested even as investigations continue?
Yeah, I think that's a starting point. I think that, honestly, if I had my way and I was in government, this should be a test case. Because, you see, we keep year by year having these same discussions. Who will bail the cat? Who will make sure that you set the precedent that we are not going to allow anybody to get away with this? In my mind, All these things follow processes. There must be somebody who initiates. There must be somebody who endorses. There must be somebody who approves. There must be somebody who picks that and moves to the bank. All those steps require individuals who know the rules. So there would be a finance director who must sign off at some point. And that finance director must know that the policy on disbursement requires that you must have 3 signatories, or else that you check the contract on the specific project item. Does the contract cover those particular, whether it's toolkits, does it cover those services, does it cover... You can't just disburse money. So the whole chain of everybody who should have known better ought to be held accountable. They don't just pick, let's say, the chief director, the minister, and a few, because that way, the rest of the people, and often is middle-level technocrats, whatnot, who just facilitate this. And sometimes they have figured out how to make sure they make money out of the system. So I think that let's go beyond the key figures. Let's, as it were, follow the money trail, follow the paper trail. Who in that chain did an endorsement, was part of the process, knew that we shouldn't have moved this forward without the contract being followed, without the policy being followed, without the right stakeholders being there, and not to just allow people to get away with murder. Because in this case, if you look at the figures, this was a free-for-all. On all sides of it.
Right. Interesting figures, because to the extent that an account named Akufo-Addo, which we have now come to know as the then Black Stars coach, was paid huge sums of money. He was paid more than $500,000 from this budget. Meanwhile, the Black Stars were not present at this game. So, as you've mentioned, it's a huge sum of money that has been allegedly embezzled.
Looking at the details, it's almost as if people said, and we are going to get away with it. Nobody goes to this extent where you go and get money out of an account, cash money, when the paperwork is not there, where there's no supporting document. Who does that in the public sector? How is that even possible?
In the interim, what should be done to them? In the interim, as we wait for the conclusion and everything, because we just hosted the Athletics Championship, Muftao, correct? Yeah. Yes, we hosted the Athletics Championship in Accra a few days ago. So could this serve as a precedent for the people who embezzled funds? What should be done to them as we even wait for a conclusion?
I have always said, in spite of the fact that justice sometimes the wheels grind slowly, due process must be followed. In which case, for example, in developing this report, and your colleague in the studio, I think, was saying that this report has been around for a while. In my mind, the work that ought to have been done parallel with, let's say, the attorney generals to begin to file charges should have started long ago, so that you can pick some of these people. As this discussion is going on, you pick them up, you file the charges, and you properly hold them accountable. It cannot be a case that it's an audit finding, and just on the basis of that, we move to, incarcerate or put them behind the counter, etc. The charges have to be filed. And so due process will still have to be that. I think that, especially where you have sectors where they are known to be prone to these things, sports is one of them. A lot of it has to do with procurement. You probably need a unit that is dedicated, whether it's from the ages or elsewhere, to making sure that the dockets, the documentation are always done as quickly as possible to set a precedent. This document, I really pray that we won't find it as another thing that will just lie on the shelf and no actions to be taken. And clearly, we need to go far beyond the minister, chief director, and the key officials mentioned there, because there is no way by themselves these sums of monies could have been, as it were, filtered away, taken, paid out without documentation. Indeed, it tells you that even the banks, because if it's a public account, the process for signing it always requires you need your second, your third, whatnot. The question is, under certain ceilings, under certain requirements, were all the documentation in place? Who allowed these things to go on? So you probably need to do a 360 analysis and make sure that everybody who is part of the chain is held accountable. And I think that the question we should be asking is whether this document, if it's been prepared earlier, the AGs has been apprised of it, they've already begun to work on it, or any other such, our anti-corruption agencies, such that these people can be picked up and we set the right precedent on these issues.
It's quite interesting because this is not the first time an incident like that is happening at the sports ministry. We all remember what happened in Brazil 2014 when there was a lot of brouhaha during our ill-fated World Cup campaign. We had to even fly money from Ghana to Brazil. We came back. Then Sports Minister Elvis Afriyie-Ankrah wept and all that. In the end, nobody was held to account. Nobody was prosecuted. Nothing happened. He was whisked to the presidency. And now we are witnessing something like that at the same sports ministry. What should we do to sanitize the system, especially at that particular ministry?
I think that this is where the independent anti-corruption agencies become important, because clearly the state by itself is unwilling to take the actions that hold accountable persons who have engaged in this crime, to the extent that it sends such a strong signal that we don't have the level of impunity we are seeing today. We don't have the repeat crime as often with the frequency and even increasing magnitudes. It's because in terms of enforcement, in terms of holding people accountable, in terms of the sanctions that have been applied, there is nothing to serve as a deterrent.
Right.
And we all know human behavior. When it looks like there is really no punishment, nobody is being held to book for it, persons are like, oh, you know what, nothing will happen. Even if I go, maybe they give me a year or two, it will be in the news for maybe 6 months, and then it's gone. I can enjoy the booty.
Yeah.
So the problem we have, I think there's a political twist to it, which is that the political actors of the day don't take enough actions, are not willing to support the necessary actions such that we forestall any future occurrence. If you were cracking the whip strongly, giving people 10 years in prison, making sure you surcharge them, they don't only pay back, you surcharge them with interest. And making sure that anybody who was associated, not just the key person, so the rest know that they can get away and repeat it. If we're being thorough, comprehensive, and robust about dealing with this, especially with respect to the sanctions.
Right.
Not that you spend 3 years. And I keep saying, look, now in countries like Kenya, every corruption case is dealt with within 6 months. They have 12 specialized anti-corruption cases. They sit daily on the same issue. So that there's quick, everybody can see, hey, he committed this crime. Within 6 months, you're incarcerated. It's in the news. We know you cannot get away with it. We are not serious. We are not putting, the kind of effort we ought to in dealing with these issues. And I hope that this is not going to be one of them, because I'm just looking at the figures and saying, look at us, bleeding away resources that are needed, whether it is in the healthcare, health industry, whether it has to do with education, whether it has to do with roads. Look at the magnitude of the resources being lost.
Interesting. And as I keep mentioning, it's a very huge document. So as we go on, we keep uncovering a lot of things. One of my colleagues has drawn my attention to page 58. And in that page, we gave a contract to a health company for 5,500 packs of condom. In another breath, there was a sponsorship deal with another condom company to supply condoms for free. Adam, are you with me?
I am. The inconsistencies just make you appreciate that there was a lot of scheming going on. Why would you, on one hand, clearly, obviously, when on one hand you are paying out for the same thing, on the other hand you are giving it for free. Somebody is giving it for free, so then why do you have to go and pay for the same service? What kind of analysis was done to establish whether you still needed to pay for the same products? When you're already getting it, somebody, probably the person then ended up on your, billboards, ended up on the various, endorsements and TV and radio, person probably got that because they have provided condoms for free, and yet you still went and paid some. These are the schemes.
Interesting. Right. So Adam, if you had your way and you could propose possible jail terms or fast-track prosecution of these individuals who are obviously found culpable after a thorough investigation, how many years do you think they should spend behind bars if they are found guilty?
Well, usually there's a sentencing regime. I mean, if you ask me, anyone in a position of responsibility who could cash money without supporting documents, boss, that person shouldn't have less than 5 years in prison. And then if the amount of money is substantive, 50 million plus, I mean, the kind of figures you are, let's say 50 million, I'm talking about 500,000 plus.
500 million?
Anything above 500,000 just tells me that these guys were just trying to do their own thing. You shouldn't be doing anything than 5 to 10 years. But critical for me is not the jail time, but let's retrieve the money. That's what we talk about now, asset recovery. And put a premium on it with interest. So let the person have a punishment so that they will not be inclined to attempt to repeat it, and those in their family and friends will not. But not just that, recover as much of it as possible, even with 100%, target that with interest. That is the surest way to send the signal. Then they don't think that, oh, I will go in for a few years, but my booty will be there, I'll invest it. And when I come, I'll benefit.
Yeah. Adam Sonanu, thank you very much for your expert analysis, as always. He's an anti-corruption crusader. I still have Muftau Nabila with the Joy Sports team in the studio with me. Muftau, we were going through the payments that were made to Black Stars.
I was just trying to refresh my memory of the contracts Akufo-Addo, Chris Hughton and co signed. As I mentioned, I've been privileged to have gotten a copy of their contracts and I've read them. Chris Hughton was sacked head coach of the Black Stars in January
of 2024. Okay.
I was in Cote d'Ivoire with him when Ghana lost, drew that game against Mozambique. He got fired the next morning. Akufo-Addo was hired Ghana's coach in March, April, May. No, March. It was March 2024. His first game was a friendly match against Morocco, in Morocco, against Nigeria and Uganda. Per the contract I read, there was no sign-on fee for Akufo-Addo. If there were a sign-on fee, that's why I would have thought that maybe the Ministry of Sports didn't have the money readily available to pay the sign-on fee. So they wanted to let the LOC that had money in their accounts to pre-finance, and they will reimburse. But maybe I need to take a look at that contract again. But there was no sign-on fee for Akufo-Addo. What I knew was that if he qualified for a major tournament, there was a package that was supposed to be given to him, and that is even determined by the Ghana Football Association. So this payment is a bit questionable. And I'm struggling to appreciate how he got $300,000 from the local organizing committee account. Then again, it brings me back to the point where I think the ministry is the government institution responsible for paying coaches of the national team. So if the ministry, say, owed Chris Hughton for sacking him about $75,000, and they were going to pay him, and they felt maybe we don't have cash readily available, LOC, you have money sitting in your account. We've been able to organize the event. You still have money. Pay these people who reimburse your monies to you. I can understand Chris Hughton's bid. I can understand Fatah Odaura's bid because he was part of the technical team. But I am John Pencil. I'm struggling to get John Pencil's payment. John Pencil's appointment as assistant coach to Akufo-Addo happened around the time Akufo-Addo was appointed head coach of the Black Stars. So I'm thinking, okay, March, April, May. This is 3 months that Akufo-Addo was in charge as head coach of the Black Stars. Per what I saw, Akufo-Addo was on a monthly salary of $50,000. So even those 3 months, he's supposed to give us $150,000, another $300,000 that he was paid. So there should be an explanation to that money that was paid to Akufo-Addo.
Right.
For Chris Hilton, I don't want to get into their heads, but maybe they owed Chris Hilton and they were trying to offset that debt.
Right.
But is that the perfect place to get the money from?
Well, Muftau, hold your breath for a minute, because if they can take it up a bit, there are more.
Yeah, there are lots of payments. There are lots of payments. I saw Joseph Lawman. Joseph Lawman was recruited by Akufo-Addo as his assistant coach. So Joseph Lawman, John Pinso, Fatah Daura, they were the assistant coaches of Akufo-Addo. So that's Joseph Lawman there.
Right.
$30,000.
Okay.
Also paid June 2024.
That's 3 months' salary. Assistant coach of Black Stars.
3 months' salary. Yes. So
John
that's what I'm saying, that March, April, May. I can understand that.
Okay.
But it is the Akufo-Addo bit that I'm struggling to appreciate. That $300,000 that was paid to Akufo-Addo, I'm struggling to actually appreciate that. In fact, there's another.
There is more, actually.
Akufo-Addo here,
there is more.
$50,000.
Akufo-Addo was paid on the 11th of September 2024 an amount of 20,000 cedis.
Yes.
They say that
dollars, actually.
Dollars, I beg your pardon. Dollars. That is salary to the head coach. If they can go up a bit. Then there is Issa Mahama Amadou.
Yeah, he's equipment officer.
Okay. And he was paid 8 million.
Ghana cedis. He's equipment officer of the Black Stars. Akufo-Addo got $310,000 here.
$310,000.
So in all, Akufo-Addo got $630,000. If I just compute these figures here.
Approximate figure,
about $630,000 to Akufo-Addo.
So these amounts are quoted in cedis, or?
They are USD.
So this one.
Go up. Total is USD. Go up.
No, this is cedis. See.
Okay, cedi.
So the 300,000 is cedis.
It's in cedi, yeah.
It's the previous figures that were in dollars.
Yes.
So Issa Mahama Amadou was paid 8 million Ghana cedis. And you say he's who again?
He's equipment officer within the national team.
I see.
Yeah.
Quite interesting and quite really revealing as well. If they can go to page 58, that's where the
condom bit.
Yes.
Before they go to page 58, if the data can give us 0.16, I want him to have an appreciation of something, to provide a context to the page 58 we are going to.
Right.
Go to 0.16. You took a screenshot of it. If you can just go there. 0.16. I want you to have a proper appreciation of how some of these things actually happen. It's a bit befuddling.
Is it a catering bit?
Exactly.
Okay.
Where some contracts were embedded in there, however, different agencies were paid separately.
I was actually about to ask you, because you said you ate their food. Was it when you tasted those foods? Were they Michelin standard, restaurant standard foods that actually commanded those amounts of money that were spent on them?
As a village man from Du, I don't know that much, but based on what I saw, it was buffet that was served to the media. We had loads of stuff. As I mentioned, I need to share the local organizing committee report presented to government. It will provide proper context to some of these things, because it's not in the public domain. I've had a copy for like 2 years now. I need to share that. Some of the companies that were engaged, the likes of Capital, were engaged to provide meals and all that. There are many people that have provided the meals for us. 0.16, if you're at 0.16, let me read that. 0.16. Go up. 0.16. Go. No, the reluctantly accepted single source. I read this thing and I was laughing.
Reluctantly?
Yeah, come down for Kenneth to see it. Come. PPA reluctantly accepted single source contracts. Yes.
8 single source contracts were ratified by PPA with explicit reservations.
They were reluctantly accepted.
They were reluctantly accepted. That's quite interesting.
Go back to point 16 for us.
They will do that for us, Muftau. But those are very revealing figures.
Yeah.
Like we have continuously mentioned that.
It's troubling.
Right. Muftau, if you can look on your screen for us, the vehicle branding and debranding. That is the breakdown of the financial irregularities.
That's about 2 million.
There were 2 million cedis irregularities when it came to vehicle branding and debranding. How was the branding of vehicles like on the ground? I've been there, like I mentioned. You were there extensively. How was it?
Okay, so the branding of the vehicles, from Ayalololo buses to other buses that were all engaged, they branded their buses entirely with the logos of the African Games 2023. And I think it will be a plus if we speak to the person who was in charge of it. That person is now working at the Jubilee House. We should ask him. He will know all these things that happen. Sometimes it's very interesting. So I don't know. The debranding and the branding costing 2 million. It takes me back to a similar thing that happened many years ago. That a minister walking away from her role. May her soul rest in peace. For this company that was given the contract to hire them, I know the person well.
Interesting.
I know the person very well.
Right.
But then again, they said they overpriced by 13.1 million Ghana cedis. That is humongous amount of money in there. And I'm wondering how some of these things happened. There was a certain company that was engaged. I don't know if I can put out their name. They were engaged to advise. I will not mention. They were engaged to advise government or the Ministry of Sports and Recreation on some of these contracts that they entered. And these companies were they actually approved that government should pay them. And I found that quite troubling that the Auditor General will find these when some of these companies that are of repute would actually advise government to proceed and make payments, knowing very well that some of these figures were actually overpriced.
Muftau, I want us to take a look at some of the defects, some of our monies, our taxpayers' monies, what they were spent on for the games. And there it is, Appendix 2. The title is Defective Works. You can see this. That is roof drainage pipe discharging on bare access payment. This is it. It's supposed to be a drainage pipe. You can see that.
That's around the aquatic complex in Botswana.
Yes, there you have the pipe there, and the description is that a roof drainage pipe discharging on bare access payment. If we can go to the next one.
Maybe this
is the no covering and screening of ceiling of external elements.
Yeah.
No covering and screening of external elements. So these are the defective works, or some will say shoddy works, that were done for the 13th African Games upon all the millions that were taken. This is a gaping hole between access door and wall. That's a gaping hole. If we can project it on the screen, you can see that.
You can. If you and I go there, we can pass under.
Poorly done work.
Yes.
This is it. You can see that this is a poorly done work per the photo evidence that we have, and the title is that a gaping hole between access door and wall. That's it. Very poorly done. Very poorly done. Millions spent on it. So this is a ceiling vent with visible gaps to ceiling finish. You can see it. Because the photo has been stretched so much, so the quality is lost a bit, but you can see the description of what we're talking about. And this one is a surround of firefighting pipe into sealing, not sealed. Look at this. Look at the big hole. The photo to your left, you can see a big hole, and it's supposed to be the surround of a firefighting pipe into sealing, and it has not been sealed. So how really are we compact ready when
I must say the Auditor General did some incredible job.
And this is surround of smaller pipe in a bigger pipe, not sealed. If it can come down a bit so that we can have a better view of it. This one, this is improper embankment protection has led to drain at the highlighted section silting up. So this is supposed to be what?
A track.
A track where athletes are supposed to compete.
In fact, the media, those of us who are privileged to have covered many world champs and Olympic events, when you are privileged to know some of the standards required for putting together tracks, this is one of the most disappointing tracks ever constructed that I've ever come across. Now, remember, even before the games, we had spoken about it extensively, about the fact that it's actually a 6-lane track. Where on earth are you constructing a lane for the development of track and field, and you do 6-lane track?
Do we know when this was constructed?
It was constructed just around the time the African Games were going to happen. It was actually part of it. It was actually part of the African Games, and it was meant for athletes to train. Meanwhile, Ghana had engaged Mondo to come down at the University of Ghana and work on the tracks which will be ratified and standardized by World Athletics to organize the games. So what actually stopped the country from doing same at Boteman, instead of asking athletes to warm up on a 6-lane track, which is not even certified and can never be certified, despite pumping millions of Ghana cedis into it. And we have spoken about it countless times, actually.
This looks like an abandoned place. It looks like a place that has been there for
it's actually
decades.
A proper bush. It's now a proper bush.
You don't say. So looking at its sloping nature, per the description, it means that when there's a little rain or water here,
everything will go
on the field.
It's horrible.
And this is supposed to be a place for athletes to train.
Yes, that's what it was constructed for. I mentioned that the place they were supposed to put up an Olympic-sized stadium. 50,000 capacity. That's what they wanted to do. But unfortunately, they didn't do it. In fact, if they did it, they wanted to turn it into Ghana University of Sports. That's what the initial plan. Along the line, they came and produced this thing for us.
Very embarrassing, if you ask me. I keep saying that when we won the bid to host the just ended Athletics Championship, I asked myself, was Ghana the only bidder? No, because we understand that Botswana.
Ghana actually beat Botswana to.
And how did we beat Botswana to it?
Because the African Games had created a certain atmosphere surrounding the country. Especially about the track and field. The atmosphere surrounding the track and field was great. We had engaged a games management system that came into the country and produced a world standard track and field championship. So
was it?
Yeah. In fact, it was one of the. I had a conversation with the World Athletics president, Sebastian Coe, and he was telling me that what he witnessed during the African Games is one of the best ever that he has ever seen. So it gave Ghana a certain atmosphere in the eyes of the continent. So it was easier for the Confederation of African Athletics to actually hand Ghana the right to host the African Athletics Championships. And that was why Ghana won the bid.
Let's continue with the defective works that were done for the African Games. Look at this. This is supposed to be a door, and the description says door locking mechanism not installed. So this is just there. And you can see that even the handle is broken, and there is no door locking equipment here that is supposed to lock this door. It's just like this. This is it.
It seems I have the contract of the company that did this Boteman thing. I need to go through that contract.
This
they should get a man to come back up and
worrying. Very worrying. You can see it. You can see that there's nowhere to insert a key to turn it and lock it. But it is supposed to be a door that is supposed to be locked.
That's true.
The door handle is even broken. I'm not saying it. I'm just describing the picture that I'm seeing.
The picture is there.
The door handle is broken.
The Auditor General is saying it.
According to the Auditor General's picture they provided to us, the door handle is broken. There is no door locking mechanism. Oh. You can also see this one on your screen there. Look at this. I don't even know what this is supposed to be.
The door for.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is also supposed to be a door.
Yeah, it's supposed
to be a door that protects the athletes. It looks anything but.
But I think more can be done about it because the Boteman Sports Complex, since it was put together, has hosted many continental events for both badminton, swimming, and all that. So the contractor can be gotten to come back and complete these works.
Let's look more. This is gaps under doors. This is not a sea. If you look at it, you might think it's a sea and there's a wave coming. This is a door, and you see gaps and you see unfinished work here.
Yeah.
So this one, a snake can pass under this one. Muftao, I kid you not. You know that a snake can pass under this one.
Oh, that's very true. Very true.
A mouse can pass under this one.
Yeah. And they'll come and compete with the cable.
In fact, someone could do you bad through this. Because anything can be passed under.
Yeah.
Because it's so big that any small object...
Are they trying to use the screening to close it up or something?
I guess. Maybe. So these are some of the defective works that were done. Yeah, there is more. There's more to it. So it's quite shocking. You ask yourself, is this something that we did for a continental showpiece like the one that we did? This is a chamber cover showing signs of rust. This is supposed to protect people from mistakenly stepping on it and falling. Look at how rusty they look. If you mistakenly step on it, you might fall inside.
And it's been barely 2 years? Because the event was between February and March 2024.
Yeah, so the top picture here is ceiling finish showing dampness, discoloring, indicative of leakage in the roof. So if you look at this picture, if you look in the middle of this picture, it looks different from the entire roof. It shows that this is an improper work that was done, and that looks like a roof that has absorbed a lot of water. And the likelihood of leakage is extremely high. The bottom one is bolts and nuts to seats showing signs
of rust.
So rusted. Look at it. So you could be seated there enjoying a game of track and field, badminton,
volleyball, basketball, whatever,
triathlon, whatever. You could fall to the ground because look at the bolts and nuts that have been placed here. This is an even surface showing evidence of ponding after rain.
This is Legon Stadium.
This is Legon Stadium.
Yeah, that's Legon.
This is supposed to be, this is not a training ground, is it?
That's a warm-up track.
It's a warm-up track.
Yeah, that's a warm-up track.
So this is where you be minutes before you get ready.
Yes. Yeah.
Imagine you're using this, you slip, you fall, you get injured.
Your race is over.
It's not even a conducive place to do it.
It's looking at it. The water.
Yes, it's very, 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 very unconducive. So this is it. This is the warm-up track that athletes jump on minutes before they get onto the main field to prepare. And look at it. If it drizzles a bit, the whole place is choked with water.
Tries to store water.
That is serious.
This one was just something simple. I don't know why they put it there.
So were these ones made purposely for the game, or
Yes.
are they already?
They were made purposely.
So
for the
these
game.
ones were made from the scratch.
Yes, they were made from the scratch.
And they look like they've been there for decades.
We actually spent millions of dollars on that.
Yes,
because
the contractor
for you
took,
to have the Mondo track, you need to spend more. One will cost like $1.8 million.
Yeah, and that's what we got. That's what we got. That's what we got. This is a galvanized hinge with associated bolts and nuts showing signs of rust. That's the top picture that you see there. Looks, again, I keep asking, is it an abandoned place that we used, or these were all specialized places?
I think some of these things, it's our maintenance culture. If you have a proper maintenance culture, some of these things, we should be able to maintain them.
Wow. So this is it. That's less than 5 years ago. That's like,
I said 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's
March
2 years ago.
2024.
Yeah.
We are in May 2026.
Yeah. That's 2 years.
2 years,
2
2
months.
months. Yes, 2
It
months.
looks like it's been there forever.
And in fact, in the course of the event, the works were still ongoing. So
while athletes were competing.
yeah, while they were competing, works were still ongoing. Works were still ongoing. So
right. So that's quite interesting, because many will ask. It appears they were using substandard.
Yeah, that's basically what
equipment
yeah.
for all the works that they did.
Yeah,
and they charged
huge amount,
world-class prices. They charged prices of venues that are suitable for World Athletics Championships.
Yeah, yeah. Because now some of these things, when you're going to host an international event, World Athletics or Confederation of African Athletics will give you the standards.
Yeah.
So you need to meet those standards.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we were able to convince them that.
Of course, because if you look at the budget and what they told them they were going to do, they were convinced that yes, with the
and
budget
in fact,
and what they're
technical
going to do,
officials
they're going to meet the
were in the
standard.
country. They kept following
inspect it.
Ghana for the organization of the event and all that. So yeah.
And works were ongoing while athletes were competing.
Oh yeah. Works were ongoing. That one there.
Wow. This is supposed to be an expansion joint, which has its seals giving way. Look at it. Look at it. So you look at it, you can't even tell what it is because it's so dismantled, so disjointed. You can't tell what it is.
What actually that is?
That is worrying.
Yeah. It's
Wow. 2.2 billion Ghana cedis
was received,
and this is what we got.
Yeah.
This is what uncompleted toilets
Yeah,
at Pavilion.
that's the Achimota over for the cricket. Yeah.
So this was supposed to be a toilet for the athletes to use.
I went there. I was there. I went there. I saw the place. In fact, I came back. When I came back, I sent Musbao there again. So yeah.
Viewers, this is supposed to be a toilet that was supposed to have been completed by the time that the event started.
It was one of the venues that actually had late start of work.
Because of uncompleted works there.
With barely 2 weeks to the start of the championship, they were so struggling to put that place in shape. In fact, I remember there was a day I went there and the contractor was on site trying to get things done. And if I remember that they were told not to record because they wanted to finish certain things as soon as possible. Because we kept creating an impression that Ghana was not ready. And Joy Sports was considered enemy of the state. So there were certain things we were not permitted to be able to do anytime we went to site. Yeah.
And according to the Auditor General's photos, indeed, we were not ready.
Yeah, we were never ready.
We were not even halfway ready because it's not like it's completed with the toilet seats and all that. There's nothing there. There's nothing.
You or someone got a contract, probably has been paid for it. And
yeah.
This is where
paid for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Huge sums of money is taken.
Just go and complete it because cricket is still happening at the cricket over. So just fix it. That's all. That's what I was saying. The Auditor General should have recommended that some of these companies that were paid should be made to go and complete or bring back the money. They should. Because one of the contracts I read, which was signed between the ministry and one of the companies, I don't want to mention the name of the company, that company was actually told that they will continue to maintain the facility 2 years after they hand it over to the state. So if you have these contracts signed with some of these companies, just let them go and finish the job. It's as simple as that. Why is it a challenge for that to happen?
Right. So that's it. That's what you have on your screen that I mentioned earlier. It's an uncompleted toilet facility, and the location is the Achimota School Cricket and Pavilion. That is it. This is not even 30% or 40% done because there's nothing there to show for it. And if somebody doesn't tell you that it's supposed to be a toilet facility, you might struggle to know that this is supposed to be a toilet facility. So these are some of the unfinished works and defective works that were done at the 13th African Games, Accra, that was hosted here in Ghana in 2024. And as you by now are aware, the Auditor General says that they spent in excess of 500 million Ghana cedis and they're supposed to refund it. And this is what? This is wombs at Legon, evidence of deteriorating expo floor finish. You can see that this is a newly done floor.
So this was the Games Village. This was the Games Village. The contractor was Mawums. He did that contract. I'm sure that's why they put his name there. So still mention his name, we can also mention
Of course, that is it. Mawums at Legon.
I know most of the company because I was privileged to have gotten some of their contracts to read. Mawums was responsible for the Games Village. Mm-hmm. So what they did was to construct a new what do we call it, facility for athletes to converge for their meals. There were so many things, including even new roads were constructed to the Liman Hall and all that.
And this looks very interesting. It looks like the roads that politicians constructed to deceive us. They constructed them 3 months later, it's deteriorated. So this means that this was actually a finished work, but a poorly done one. Yeah. Because if you look at the floor, you can see that the floor was cemented, but with poor quality materials.
This very facility was used during the African Athletics Championships. That's where the athletes went to for their meals. This very facility. Just early this month, they were there. It was used. This very facility was used,
Interesting. And then this one is Consa. This is the contractor is Consa.
Yes.
So this is the Legon Stadium. That is the evidence of sag sections on warm-up track.
Yes.
Look at this.
Yeah, I've read this contract between the Ministry of Sports and Consa.
Look at this.
And Consa was supposed to ensure proper maintenance of the facility. This contract was worth $34 million. Yes.
You don't say.
Not just for this, it includes the Legon Stadium renovation, the VIP stand, the rugby field, the live CCTVs and all that. Yeah, I have a copy of this contract.
And this is what we were able to come up with, viewers. Yeah. So that is it. That is it. I mean, the pictures speak for themselves. You've seen them.
Kenneth, you are tired. You have to be tired. Yeah. And you have to give up on this country. Or we shouldn't. We shouldn't give up, right? All in all, Adam Sinano had mentioned that people who are liable should be made to answer. They should be called up. They should be asked what happened. I'm sure they have lots of explanation to give.
Yeah.
But the right agencies should speak to them. I was privileged to have known that some of them were invited long ago. In fact, I was one of the few people who was also invited to assist investigations, so I won't be surprised. If I were invited to assist investigations, those people certainly too were invited. So I'm sure maybe they might have spoken to them. They will still need certain clarity on some of these things. They have the right to be heard before whatever decisions or actions should be taken are taken. So yeah, clearly, I think we need proper education and answers to some of these things that we are currently seeing.
Exactly. They have the right to be heard, like you mentioned. We also need to hear from them, their side of the story, and see how it goes. Muftau Nabila is with Joy Sports. Thank you very much. You've been very helpful this afternoon. You're still watching The Pulse here on Joy News. When we return from the break, we'll bring you more stories. Don't go anywhere.
The bottle line has been drawn and history is calling. 2 giants, 1 trophy. Will this be Arsenal's first ever Champions League trophy? Or is PSG lifting it again for the second time in a row? Join your #1 entertainment radio station, Hits 103.9 FM at the Aviation Social Center as we watch Arsenal versus PSG battle on a giant screen. Ghana, get ready for the Hits FM Rep Your Jersey 2026. This year, we've ramped up the excitement with sports quiz, soccer tournament, the Champions League anthem competition, esports, JAMA, and more. All roads lead to the Aviation Social Center. Swag up your jerseys. Wear your football club jersey proudly. And let's all meet at the Aviation Social Center from 10 a.m. to late. Mark the date, Saturday, 30th May 2026. And get ready for lots of fun with friends and family. Entertainment with your favorite Hits FM personalities. Music with a Hits FM DJ squad. And amazing prizes to be won from 10 a.m. to the climax of the UEFA Champions League finale match in grand style. The Hits FM Rep Your Jersey 2026 is powered by Joy Sports with support from Joy Prime, Joy News, Joy FM, and My Joy Online, and proudly sponsored by TCL, Inspire Greatness, Star Oil, still quality and affordable fuel for all. Soccer Bet, your best bet for sports betting. Didi Shito, Efiedienye, Heineken, share the passion. Twisco chocolate food drink, power your dream. Ashesi University, educating the next generation of ethical and entrepreneurial leadership for Africa. Ayuda, Ghana's #1 services app, Abaco Services Baby, Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone Papa Pafi, day by day men, strong and refined, the skincare you deserve. Heritage Christian University, educating compassionate entrepreneurial leaders. Citizen Sports Mall, level up your game. Aqua Natural Mineral Water, Obenumanum Bium, DSTV, feel every moment. The Hits FM Rep Your Jersey 2026.
From Africa to football's biggest stage, you are invited to be a part of it. Feel the rush, the passion of every moment. Don't just watch the game. Live the FIFA World Cup experience. With VIP seatings, exclusive lounges, gourmet dining, priority access at every turn, luxury all around you. Seamless, effortless, exceptional. Because this is more than a ticket. This is your FIFA World Cup 2026 experience. Brought to you by Match Experience Hospitality.
Call 055 155 1119 or visit matchexphospitality.com to secure your packages, or walk into any Absa Bank branch, our official banking partner, for more information and payment.
Now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park.
Our electric shuttle pulled up, and in no time our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the Eco Park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown crane, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults? This price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It's been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
The 12th Ishmael Yamson and Associates Roundtable Conference is here. Under the theme Unlocking the Next Quarter Century, this conference will spotlight the ideas and strategies shaping Africa's future. BRT 2026 will feature a distinguished speaker lineup including the Minister of Finance, Honorable Kasiel Atuforsen, the Minister of Energy and Green Transition, Honorable Dr. John Jinapo, the CTO of Huawei Technologies Company, Augustine Chu, the Chairman of the National Development Planning Commission, Dr. Nee Moy Thompson, and renowned Pan-African activist, Professor PLO Lumumba. Join us on the 28th of May 2026 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Movenpick Ambassador Hotel. Register now at brt.ieyamson.com. BRT 2026 is in partnership with Goldfields, Huawei, MTN, Tex Genesis, Nosme, Gasem, UMB, Lofton Keys Properties, Coronation Insurance, Unicam, Fiducia Data Solutions, Brasica, Vanguard Assurance, Excelsior Global, Coral Reef Innovation Africa, Guosevo, as well as Mojo Pay and People's Pension. Media partners.
Mom, so Kidivite contains 12 vitamins?
Yes, 12 essential vitamins that growing bodies need.
So we'll grow healthy and strong. And smart?
Absolutely.
Kidivite Multivitamin Tonic contains all the essential vitamins and nutrients needed for the healthy development of children from age 1 to 12 years. Also available, Kidivite Multivitamin Drops for babies under 12 months. Grow strong, grow healthy with Kidivite. Distributed by NS Chemist Limited. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
From Africa to football's biggest stage, you are invited to be a part of it. Feel the rush, the passion of every moment. Don't just watch the game. Live the FIFA World Cup experience. With VIP seatings, exclusive lounges, gourmet dining, priority access at every turn, luxury all around you. Seamless, effortless, exceptional. Because this is more than a ticket. This is your FIFA World Cup 2026 experience. Brought to you by Match Experience Hospitality. Call 055 155 1119 or visit matchexphospitality.com to secure your packages or walk into any Absa Bank branch, our official banking partner, for more information and payment.
Another week is here on the greatest of all time show. My name is Giovanni Clip, and tonight we're bringing you talent. Contestant number 1, let's bring Baby Girl. Let's bring. You did it for you.
Cut. Oh, there is a leakage.
Where's the plumber? For quality and durability, insist on Syntex pipes. If you want quality, this be where you belong. Strong, tough, and reliable. Your perfect match to your trusted Syntex pipe. Syntex pipe, it they carry water, no wahala. Syntex pipe, it they make water they flow. Syntex, and you're strong, and you're tough.
We were living in one of the pavilion behind. Later that we had this new building. Then we now moved to the new building.
You did a lot. They have come here and asked us, and they have continued our 6-unit classroom building.
A lot has changed. After documentary, we had 60 tables and chairs, then a 10-bedroom teacher accommodation.
We have never been fair to these young children. The children are suffering. We applied for school feeding, which will have also helped to increase the enrollment.
The impact has been great in terms of enhancing duty bearer responsiveness, in terms of responding to the infrastructure needs, in terms of teacher availability. We are seeing that there's progress.
From farm to plate, do you really know what you're eating? Any glitch in the circuits of the food chain can change the price and size of what you eat. Technology has changed the face of farming, but how is Ghana plugging in? Join Jesse Aram Agbakpo, Emmanuel Bright Kweku on the food chain as they project startups in the agri sector, highlight the gains and plight of industry players while engaging with experts for more insights in agri-related issues. Food chain, everything agriculture and more, as during the Joy Business Report every Thursday at 1 p.m. on Joy FM and every Saturday at 6 p.m. on the Joy News channel, with a repeat on Tuesdays at 2:30 p.m.
Hello again. The high-profile cases involving the Office of the Special Prosecutor have suffered another delay after Criminal Court 3 adjourned both the Akufo-Addo and MPA matters to June 18th for further arguments while awaiting the determination of a stay of execution application filed by the OSP. The application seeks to challenge the ruling by General Jurisdiction 10 of the Accra High Court, which ruled that the institution cannot prosecute without authorization from the Attorney General's Department. Legal Affairs correspondent Fatal Bayaga is joining me in studio with more on this development. Fatal, what further reasoning informed this judgment?
Very interesting, in court today, the OSP, over the period has been trying so hard to fight back in terms of its prosecutorial powers. And today, one of the state attorneys in the OSP's office, Adelaide Kobri Wood, was in court, flanked by other, assistant attorneys at the OSP's office. And basically, she informed the court that this, in relation to this particular case, the OSP filed a stay of execution application, which was supposed to be heard or determined on the 21st of May. But then the accused persons were not in court that very day. So the judge was compelled or was, forced to adjourn the proceedings to June 8. So at the moment, the proceedings have been adjourned to June 8. So she told the judge that. So after saying all of that, then the judge, informed the other persons who were there, the lawyers of the other accused persons, that, okay, this is what the OSP is saying. So basically after that, all of them expressed satisfaction with the request put forth by the OSP. And in fact, the OSP said that, okay, the judge should adjourn the case beyond a date, after that, following that particular determination. And then the judge then made his, decision on this particular case and said, okay, the case was adjourned to the 18th of June. That's when they will be back in court for this particular case to be determined. But that particular case, Ken, in fact, that would depend on whether on the 8th of June, whether the court would hear that particular application and say that it's or upholds that particular application in favor of the OSP. If that happens, then it means that the OSP would be able to go ahead to prosecute us or to continue with the trial in relation to these high-profile cases.
We know that the case involving a former CEO of NPA, Mustafa Hamid, is also a very crucial one. Did you see him in court? And if you did, what was his demeanor like today? I saw him in court with the other accused persons. Ken, he was clad in white with a very calm demeanor. He's lacing his boots to contest in the MPP's, executive elections, right? National vice chairman and all of that. And he's raised concerns in relation to this particular case over the period, right? Some people trying to use the case to pin him down and all of that. So this man was in court, looking very calm. His demeanor was calm as he listened to the arguments in court today. So basically, Ken, Mustafa Abdul Hamid, former MPA boss, when I looked at his demeanor, he seemed unperturbed as he, listened to all the arguments in court. But one more thing, Ken, that happened in relation to the OSP, as we speak, there was also another application. And in fact, this particular case, the MPA case, it was also adjourned on the same ground in relation to the Ken Oforiatta's case, right? Basically because the stay of execution application wasn't determined and all of that. And in fact, the OSP also have filed another application at the Supreme Court and was seeking to quash the decision of the General Jurisdiction 10, the decision taken by Justice Eugene Nyante. But then, according to the court, a 5-member panel chaired by Scott Poorman said that, okay, the OSP did not serve the other interested parties, the accused persons, and for that reason, the court decided to adjourn that particular case indefinitely. So it means that at the moment, the OSP is really struggling to be able to be on its feet to be able to determine these very high-profile cases. MPP's Ashanti Regional Chairman Wontumi, was also supposed to be in court today. What's the update on his case?
So Wontumi's case in relation to the Tano Nimri, it's all about cross-examination of the prosecution witness, and it's been going on for a while. And today he was supposed to be in court again for that cross-examination to continue. But unfortunately, according to the AG, Wontumi told them that he wouldn't be able to make it to court today, and for that reason, that has been, rescheduled. So basically, that's the reason why Wontumi wasn't in court today, Ken.
Fatau Bayaga reports to us from the courts. Thank you. Let's now head to the Ashanti region now, where the Dwabin municipality recorded the highest rate of HIV infections in that region last year, according to the Ghana AIDS Commission's annual report. The Commission's data shows that over 2% of individuals in the area have contracted the virus, placing Dwabin ahead of other districts in the region. Health officials say the figure reflects both the scale of transmission and the municipality's role as a testing and treatment hub.
Municipal AIDS Committee has attributed the high prevalence partly to the Dwabin Government Hospital, which has become the primary center for HIV testing, counseling, and antiretroviral therapy. In an interview, focal person on HIV and AIDS for Dwabin Municipality, Abdel Wahab Mohammed, said the hospital functions as both a referral center and a trusted facility for residents from surrounding districts and other regions who suspect exposure to the virus. He said the concentration of services is one of the main factors inflating the number of cases recorded.
Dwabin has been a referral center. And moreover, when we take Dwabin, how our ART site is located, it has a serene area that people also feel at home to be, as well as people also think it is confidential. It's a confidential site for them. This has really made other people to come into Dwabin to access our ART services. So we can also say the numbers are partly due to the fact that we are getting people receiving a transfer into Dwabin municipal to assess their medication.
He said that given these challenges, he does not expect a decline in cases in the next report. However, the Municipal AIDS Committee is working to ensure the numbers do not exceed those recorded last year.
We cannot confidently say cases might reduce in the sense that people will still see Dwabin as a good place to access their medication. And once we've also opened our net wide, trying to test everybody, so the likelihood of even us getting more cases is high.
Meanwhile, residents reacted with dismay to the report's release, saying the findings had caught them off guard. Many described a sense of embarrassment within the Dwabin community, noting that the publicity has led some to hold back from identifying themselves as being from the area when traveling outside the municipality. I was surprised by the report because we are ashamed. Even when a t-shirt with an inscription, Mifri Dwabin, came out during that period, I couldn't buy one. I was afraid to wear it in other communities because people would point fingers at me. As the health experts have reviewed in the report, it's up to us to advise ourselves. For me, I've spread this advice to all my family members. Because when you contract HIV, it comes with a lot of stigma and other consequences. I wasn't surprised by the report because other people come here for taking care of themselves. Francis Mensah's report for Joy News.
For decades, the 96-kilometer stretch between Sola and Wa has been more than just a road. It has been a political promise, a commercial lifeline, and for drivers and traders, a daily test of patience. Now, after years of complaints and threats of protest, work has finally resumed on the road. But with less than an estimated 5% of the project completed, commuters say the signs of relief are visible yet fragile. Joy News' Upper West regional correspondent visited the project site and reports.
For decades, this road has been more than asphalt. It's been a political promise, a broken link, and a source of daily frustration for thousands. This is the Solowa stretch of the N12, and for the people of the Upper West and Savannah regions, it is the road their livelihoods depend on.
Because this is the worst time that this road has ever been. This is the worst stage since everything. I have been planning this road since 1943. And then when it was put in good shape, I mean, we were all enjoying it. But for about 3 years now, regrettably, it has worsened.
The 232-kilometer highway has been split into lots and fixed piece by piece since the Fourth Republic began. Every government has done its part, but it was under President John Adjei Kufuor that the last major push was completed. Since then, the road has deteriorated, especially around the Tunonyuole enclave. The Solowa stretch links the Upper West, Savannah, Bono, and Asante regions. When it fails, the market stalls, trips get longer, tempest flares, and the government is on the chopping board. The frustration boiled over earlier last month when a concerned youth group in the Upper West region threatened to picket and occupy Dawa Airport if authorities fail to act. Abdul Basit Kombadiana is one of the lead conveners for the concerned youth group.
A 2-week ultimatum should show concrete, verifiable action, not promises, not press statements, but action. If this ultimatum is ignored, the demonstration that will follow will be disruptive, sustained, and impossible to ignore. We will take control of our narrative and, if necessary, our infrastructure, including the Upper West Regional Airport. Mr. Minister, please act decisively. Anything less will confirm what many are already beginning to suspect, that this project was never about delivery, but about optics and political theater.
Now, there's a movement. Roads and Highways Minister Governor Kwame Abuja pledged action and work has begun in earnest.
Of course, once he's interested in every road, including any 1-inch road in every corner, he must pay the same level of attention to that road. No road is more important than the other. So we can assure you that we are going to ensure that.
Contractor Marapoma Enterprise Limited has clarified bad sections, filled deep gullies and manholes, and widen the road.
Beyond the construction of the roads at Tuna, the contractor is busily working on drains.
The drainage is to stop flooding from washing the road away again. The Upper West Regional Minister Charles Wong-Opozun, along with the Regional Security Council, visited the site to assess progress. Upper West Regional Director of the Ghana Highways Authority, Engineer Laston Damale, briefed the REXEC members on progress of work.
Currently, he has done clearing along the section, about 80% clearing. In fact, after the ministers come in, we all saw the fire. So he's done clearing. He's managed to maintain the existing road. He started doing works, U-drains, and also some cutting to widen.
Site manager Safo Jan was also quizzed on timelines.
Are you still sure you do it in 36 months or less?
Honorable Minister, we will do it in the 36 months schedule. Yes, please. So currently, to make up time, we are going to double our resources on the site to make sure that we catch up with the gap that we've created so that we deliver this road in the time frame given.
But with less than 5% estimated work completed, commuters say relief is visible, yet fragile.
Yes, still we need improvement. We still need improvement too, because this road, as you can see, is an international road.
So pressure should be put on all the contractors, those who are part of this particular big project, they should quicken the pace of it.
Oh, I want contractor to make it fast so that we can apply the road smoothly.
The tension has cooled, but the frustration hasn't gone away. For commuters and traders, every extra day on this road is money lost and time stolen. The Solowa Road links the Upper West to Savannah, Asante, and Bona regions. When it fails, the whole chain breaks. As work continues, one thing is clear: on the Solowa Road, every kilometer fixed feels like a promise kept, and every delay feels like another year lost. Reporting for Dwayne News, Rafiq Salam, Tuna.
We still stay in northern Ghana because in the Savannah region, many roads tend to mud when it rains. The community has no reliable communication network. A village has no electric power. The people of Sola and Kon brought those problems straight to President Mahama when he came to his home region of Savannah for the resetting tour and left with timelines, not just promises. Joy News' Upper West regional correspondent, Rafiq Salam, reports.
In Sola, in Ghana's Savannah region, progress is measured in simple terms. A road that doesn't turn to mud, a light that stays on after sunset, and a classroom where every child sits together.
Young people and hard-working residents are eager to contribute meaningfully to national development, but the absence of electricity continues to limit their opportunities. We therefore respectfully plead with Your Excellency to assist in extending rural electrification to these underserved areas so that every household and community can benefit from the national development agenda.
That's why when President John Dramani Mahama arrived here, the appeals were personal. Chiefs from Sola, and Kong brought more than protocol. They brought requests for power, roads, and a future for their youth.
We also humbly request your support in upgrading the Solar Township Road into a dual carriage and into a dual carriage road. And the Tona-Kalba Road, Solar, is becoming an important commercial and transportation hub, linking northern and southern Ghana, as well as neighboring countries. The Kongura respectfully plead with your government to consider the construction of road from Tona to Kong. This road is very important to the movement of people, goods, and services, yet its poor condition continue to affect economic activities and access to social services in the area. Additionally, the people of Kong are pleading for improved telecommunication network services in the town.
President Mohammed's answer was direct. Contracts for rural electrification are signed. Contractors will be on the ground in a month, and the Solar Tona-Kalba district roads are locked into phase 2 of the government's Big Food Infrastructure Program.
The contracts have been awarded, and that the contractors have already come to inspect, and they are mobilizing to come and start. And we expect that within the next 1 month, the contractors who are supposed to conduct the electrification of our communities will be on ground and they'll start working. Savannah was one of the most underserved regions in terms of electricity supply. We want to bring Savannah up to the level of all the other regions in terms of access to electricity. There is a second phase that we are scoping, and it will be announced by the Minister of Finance when he presents the budget in November this year to Parliament. And I can assure Kongura, Kalbaura, and my fathers that your roads are contained in the Big Push project for next year. So you hear it will be announced in the budget in November, and early next year we'll have the contractors on the ground working on the roads.
But for many here, the story is all about their children. The plan is bigger than one school. The government wants to end the double track system in senior high schools by 2027, upgrade 60 schools, and invest $300 million to make sure a child's postcode doesn't decide their quality of education.
Mr. President, under your Star J initiative, which is improving secondary education in order to end double track and to move all schools under single track, I'm happy to announce that this district, Kulmasa in the Solar District, will get a new TVET institution funded under the World Bank project. Another secondary school will be rehabilitated in Kong, and these schools are not just infrastructure of building. It will come with some laboratories and some workshops to support those infrastructure.
For 3 days, farmers and students in Solar, it is a promise they have heard before. But this time, the timelines are short, the projects are named, and the chiefs say they are watching. If the bulldozers and electricians arrives as promised, the story in Solar will change from appeal to progress by the end of the year 2027. In Solar, the wait for light, roads, and skills may finally be ending. Reporting for Dwayne News, Rafik Salam, Solar.
Government is stepping up efforts to fight human trafficking as concerns grow over increasing cases of sports trafficking where children are deceived with promises of football opportunities overseas as the country joins the commemoration of the World Day Against Trafficking in Persons, also known as Blue Day, on the 30th of July. Speaking at the media launch, the Minister for Gender, Agnes Latte, assured that authorities will not tolerate any form of exploitation and pledged intensified efforts to protect vulnerable children and prosecute persons involved in trafficking networks.
The board prepares for major international sporting events, including the upcoming FIFA World Cup. greater attention is being paid to the risk of sports trafficking and the exploitation of young athletes and sporting talent. Sports is meant to inspire hope, discipline, opportunity, and national pride. Across the world, millions of young people see sports as a pathway to education, professional success, economic advancement, and a better future. In Ghana, particularly, sports, especially football and athletics, continue to represent aspirations and opportunities for many young people and their families. Unfortunately, traffickers and exploiters are increasingly taking advantage of these dreams. Across many countries, criminal networks and unscrupulous individuals use false promises of sports contracts, scholarships, overseas trials, and recruitment opportunities to lure vulnerable young people into situations of exploitation, abuse, forced labor, irregular migration, and trafficking. This form of trafficking often hides behind legitimacy and ambition. It exploits talents, hope, and trust. That is why this year's theme calls on all of us to blow the whistle, to speak up, remain vigilant, expose suspicious activities, and protect vulnerable young people before exploitation occurs.
That's the Gender Minister, Agnes Latte. She also urged Ghanaians to remain vigilant, report questionable recruitment and movement of persons, and play an active role in safeguarding children and young people.
That is why this year's theme calls on all of us to blow the whistle, to speak up, remain vigilant, expose suspicious activities, and protect vulnerable young people before exploitation occurs. It's the time to blow the whistle. This is the time to protect young people. And this is the time to stand together against exploitation in all its forms. Ladies and gentlemen, as Ghana joins the rest of the world on 30th July to commemorate the 2026 World Day Against Human Trafficking, I wish to call on all citizens to play an active role in fighting against trafficking in persons. Human trafficking thrives when communities remain silent, when suspicious activities are ignored, and when vulnerable persons are left unprotected. Every citizen, therefore, has responsibility to remain vigilant, report suspicious recruitment and movement of persons, protect children and vulnerable young people, and support efforts aimed at preventing exploitations in our communities.
For years, residents in parts of the Ketu North municipality have traveled on a road many describe as a daily nightmare, a stretch riddled with dust, potholes and broken promises. The Ehi to Georgie Road, founded with Ghana's petroleum revenue and expected to be a completed project a decade ago, remains unfinished, affecting transportation, trade and livelihoods in the area. Now the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, is in the Volta region to inspect the project and assess whether public funds meant for development are truly delivering value for the people. Ivy Setoji has...
And other auxiliary facilities are under the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. The project is expected to support agriculture storage, reduce post-harvest losses, and improve food security within the municipality and surrounding farming communities. However, the committee's attention was also drawn to the deteriorating state of the Ehi to Georgie Road, a bitumen surfacing project, which was scheduled to begin in 2006 and expected to be completed by 2011. More than a decade after the projected completion date, the road remained largely uncompleted and in poor condition, sparking serious concerns over delays, abandoned works, and the effective use of petroleum revenue located to infrastructure development. The dusty and heavily damaged stretch continues to pose significant challenges to motorists, traders, farmers, and residents who rely on the road for transportation and economic activities. Emmanuel Japon is Senior Technical Manager at PIAC.
The committee, which is PIAC, we are on a monitoring exercise in accordance with our third mandate, which is to monitor and evaluate compliance and also independently assess the use of petroleum revenues. So for that reason, we are in the K2 North Municipal Assembly and we are inspecting 2 projects. The first that we did was the warehouse, 1,000 metric tons warehouse at Joje. And the second that we currently are on site is the construction and the graveling or bitumen surfacing of the Ehi to Joje Road. For the warehouse, we've inspected that. It looks like a very good project, exactly as was done. And the revenues have been put to use and the warehouse is currently in use. But for the Ehi to Joje Road, we've realized that the road is actually in a very deplorable state. Commencement of the road was from 2006, and it was supposed to have been completed in 2011. However, as at 2026, the road is in a very deplorable state. It was supposed to have been bitumen surfacing. However, that has not been done. The road is even yet to even have its fair seal, and it's something that it's a worry for us when we monitor petroleum revenues. So it's something that's an issue for us.
The Municipal Chief Executive for Ketu North, Reverend Martina Menaki, also expressed concern over the prolonged delay and hardship residents continue to endure due to the poor nature of the road. According to him, the condition of the stretch negatively affects movement, increases transport costs, and slows down economic activities in the area, particularly for farmers and traders.
This road saves a lot of communities as a short road from Ehi to Joje. As you can see, Kuli is a big community on its own. Jobapima is here, Abaikopa is there. If you go a little as we go in, you have Bagbakopa, the whole Batonia community are there, but the copper, Hanfeto, Hanyara Copper, then Togbava. About 10 communities are on this road. They use this road. They are all farming communities. They convey their food crops from there. The only major market in Ketu is the Joje market. That saves all of us. So with the deplorable state of this road, as you can see, it's even becoming unmotorable for the people to convey their wares from there to the market, which is making life unbearable in this area.
He's therefore appealing to government to take urgent steps to retrieve misapplied funds, repackage the contract, and ensure the completion of the project to bring relief to residents.
All that is on record, that this road was constructed with bitumen, should be ignored. Those people who were paid with the petroleum money, which we are going to have a community engagement on tomorrow, they should trace them to prove the work done so far. I heard on record they say with bitumen completion 100%, then somewhere 71%. But if you can look at the work from Digate's time up to now, the major work done on this road is just a stretch of about 500 meters drainage system that was done. Apart from that, nothing else was done. The government should try to retrieve the money, repackage this road as early as possible to a contractor who should be able to construct this road for our people to be relieved.
Residents of Joje and adjoining communities say the completion of the Ehi-Joje road will not only ease transportation challenges, but also boost commerce, improve access to markets, and accelerate development within the municipality. Ivy Satoji, Joy News.
And that's it for the Pulse this evening. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. The news team returns at 7 p.m. with News Prime. My name is Kenneth Gyasi. Have a good evening.
Teenage pregnancy is stressful. It is world war.
Dreams are paused, futures rewritten, and childhood replaced with the heavy responsibility of raising a life.
They impregnated her, and at the end of the day, when she came, she was HIV positive.
This is not just a story of motherhood, it's a cautionary tale.
Your friends will laugh at you at that time because nobody expects you to get pregnant at that time. You get that reactions from the nurses when you go to the antenatal. Some of you will go like Accra.
Too young to mother on Joy News.
On PM Express, power is confronted, claims are tested, and accountability is not optional.
The first 2 months in office between January, February, and March, we had already brought down this rate, and then we have sustained it since.
Politics, business, the economy, social justice. If it affects your life, it will be examined. If it shapes your future, it will be interrogated.
You ever sitting there today and you see me sweating, I'm answering your question, you in the comfort of your chair putting all these questions to me. That is why you would not have the responsibility of bringing about this document.
No safe spaces for evasion, no comfort in half-truths, just facts, pressure, and the courage to stay with the question until the answer comes.
Your word says,
my words were,
those on Compact Plus, you pay $570 and you get more channels.
Evans,
that moves you.
This is the speech.
To
the speech I read yesterday is what I'm holding here. You didn't read the speech. You didn't write it. I wrote it and I read it.
Because democracy demands scrutiny and the public deserves clarity. When the day's noise fades and the nation needs understanding, there is PM Express on Joy News. Independent, fearless, credible.